Good evening and welcome to the 7 o'clock news bulletin brought to you from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. Asyad Group stresses that the logistics sector is expected to contribute with 2 billion Omani riyals in the gross domestic product by 2020 and signs a memorandum of understanding with Qatar Ports Management Company. Special Economic Zone Authority at Duqm enhances its efforts to attract domestic and foreign investment. And the disruption of works at wastewater project in the Wilaya of Mosuna hindered traffic movement from and to villages of the Wilaya. Good evening once again and thank you for joining us. Those were the headlines and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos sends a cable of greetings to His Excellency President Dr. Michael Temer of Brazil on the occasion of his country's National Day. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has received more cables of greetings on the blessed Eid al-Adha from His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Vice President of the United Arab Emirates, Prime Minister and ruler of Dubai. His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud, Crown Prince, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Defense in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah, Crown Prince of the State of Kuwait. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Heir Apparent of Abu Dhabi and Deputy Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces of the United Arab Emirates. His Excellency Sheikh Sabah Khalid Al Hamad Al Sabah, First Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of the State of Kuwait. His Excellency Dr. Ayyad Alawi, Vice President of Iraq. His Excellency Saad Rafiq Al-Hariri, Prime Minister of Lebanon. And His Excellency Ahmed Abul Ghaid, Secretary General of the Arab League. In their cables, they express their sincere greetings and best wishes of good health, well-being and long life to His Majesty the Sultan, praying to Allah the Almighty for the return of these and similar occasions on His Majesty for many years to come, and the Omani people further progress and prosperity under the wise leadership of His Majesty the Sultan. His Majesty replied to them on this occasion, expressing his thanks for their good initiative and noble feelings, wishing them good health and well-being, praying to Allah the Almighty to return such occasions with good omen and happiness and to achieve for their people further development and welfare. Asyad Group, owned by Sultanate's government, signed a memorandum of understanding with Qatar Ports Management Company. The memorandum aims at reinforcing the relationship between two brotherly countries in their field of commercial exchange and connecting ports for common investments in maritime and logistic services. Through this memorandum, Asyad Group looks forward to be among the best 10 world logistic companies by investing in local and international logistic assets and to connect Omani ports' world trade routes. Asyad Group, owned by the government, states that the 16 projects and initiatives in the logistics sector, which came up with the national program to enhance economic diversification Tanfeedh, are being implemented as per the fixed schedule. With the advent of 2020, the logistics sector is expected to contribute with 2 billion Omani riyals in the gross domestic product and with 14 billion riyals in 2040. Asyad Group also expected that the number of employees in the sector will increase to 100,000. The sector recorded in 2016 more than 67,000 workers. Among land transport initiatives were the completion of land transport linkage with Saudi Arabia through empty quarter crossing and the rehabilitation of connecting road networks, in addition to railway projects that will reduce the transport distance by more than 130 kilometers and provide easy access to gas and oil production sites. Meanwhile, Salalah Port has occupied the 44th place among the best 100 global ports in terms of container handling. Within its efforts to attract domestic and foreign investments and provide encouraging legislative environment for the private sector for investment, Duqm Special Economic Zone Authority started enforcing the real estate development regulation at the zone. The regulation aims to encourage investors to invest in real estate development, such as tourism compounds, multi-story buildings for residential and commercial uses. It also seeks to encourage locals and expatriates to reside in Duqm through giving them the opportunity to buy usufruct rights in real estate units offered by real estate developers. According to the new regulations, the real estate developers will be given good-sized lands, not less than 100,000 square meters for each project. The period of usufruct rights will be for 50 years and can be renewed for the same period. In related context, the Ministry of Housing has approved new regulations for the ownership of real estate companies to practice the activity in the zone. Watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and still to come in our news bulletin. The journey of peace and love is a slogan taken by Omani adventurers on their journey to South Africa with motorcycles. Welcome to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Oman oil price of coming November delivery reached today $52.48 per barrel, recording a rise of $1.07 compared to yesterday's price, which stood at $51.41 a barrel. The average price per barrel in the Sultanate witnessed a rise of 42% last July, reaching $51.06. The Sultanate's total exports of crude oil and condensers registered around 172 million barrels by the end of July. Oman Air signed an agreement with Oman Takatuf company specialized in the transfer of human capital to provide job evaluation services. Upon this agreement, the national carrier will be able to take optimal decisions about the suitability of employees for future positions by following up the best techniques used for job evaluation services, which help identify staff strengths and gaps that require development. The carrier will activate these services internally for the evaluation of leadership capabilities and human cadres in the company. This agreement is another step with the carrier's bid towards boosting the talent management processes and human resources development. Oman Riders team will cross around 14,000 kilometers, passing through 14 Gulf, Arab and African countries from Oman to South Africa. The initiative will be the first of its kind at the level of Arab countries. Earlier, the team rode by motorcycles from Oman to Europe and China. The new adventure will be held under the theme Peace and Love. It will take 40 days from the Sultanate to South Africa. Works of the West Water Project in Wilaya of Musuna, which started 2 years ago, came to a stop, and facilities of which were not completed. Excavations for the extension of pipe and fittings in the roads caused a hindrance to vehicle drivers. The internal roads in the Wilaya passing through the West Water Project were directly affected, and diggings on those roads affected the traffic movement as well. Citizens in Musuna urge the authorities concerned to rehabilitate those vital roads which connect the commercial area with the internal villages of the Wilaya, and look forward to complete this project as soon as possible. In the Governorate of the Far, the Kharif season formed an appropriate destination to hundreds of families during the holiday of Eid al-Adha as Kharif Salala festival concluded. More details in the following report. Salalah, with this marvelous scenery, the mountains here are covered with lush green vegetation while surrounded by light fog, making the Far an important tourism destination. This attractive sceneries of Kharif season has been witnessing a large number of both locals and tourists from different countries ascending over the mountains one after another, driving their cars under light rains drizzle, enjoying the magnificent views full of green trees of forest-like, stretched all over the wilayat of Salalah and other wilayat in the governorate of the Far. The temperature of this magnificent part of Oman during this time of the year is between 20 to 26 degrees Celsius. The Ministry of Tourism and the Far municipality, together with other organizations, have diligently worked and continue to do so, expanding various facilities that allow visitors to feel comfortable and enjoy their visits of this distinctive natural diversity in the Far, where the coast extended along the Arabian Sea blends with the mountains and the desert, plains and valleys in a wonderful harmony. The latest statistics of Kharif season showcased that the number of visitors during the season reached more than 619,000, while the governorate still constitutes an attraction factor with the existence of the green landscape in the coming period. People continue to visit governorate of Salalah to enjoy the Kharif season. Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Rubai, Sultanate of Oman Television, Salalah. Wonderful sceneries continues in the governorate of the Far, in particular in Salalah. Security forces in Spain and nearby Morocco have broken up alleged Daesh group-linked extremist cells whose 6 members were actively training and planning to conduct violent attacks. The Moroccan Interior Ministry said 5 people were detained near the northern Moroccan city of Nador and 1 in the nearby Spanish enclave of Melilla. The arrest came weeks after attacks by Spanish extremists with Moroccan links that killed 16 people around Barcelona. 5 of those detained today are Moroccan and 1 is a Spaniard of Moroccan origin. The alleged leader of the cell dismantled today was a 39-year-old living in Melilla who was arrested while visiting Morocco. He allegedly recruited youngsters at a re-education center where he worked and used Daesh propaganda to train them. China has once again urged the US and South Korea to halt the deployment of a high-tech missiles defense system in South Korea. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson said today that China remains strongly opposed to it. The U.S. military is to add more launchers tomorrow to a terminal high-altitude air defense THAAD battery that it began setting up in rural South Korea earlier this year. China says the THAAD system would aggravate tensions on Korean Peninsula and jeopardize the strategic and security interest of China and other countries. Speaking in London, British Defence Secretary Michael Fallon said the United Kingdom is working hard with the United Nations to make sure Russia and China accept their responsibility to put pressure on North Korea. UK Prime Minister Theresa May addressed the House of Commons today for the first Prime Minister questions since July. May was pressed on a variety of topics including Brexit, immigration and how long she will continue to be Prime Minister. When May was questioned on immigration, she said she thinks overall immigration has been good for the UK, but people want to see control of immigration because of the impact it has on those with low income. She also said that it was in the interest of the European Union to see Brexit discussions moving on to the future relationship. Millions of Syrians have fled their country's war as refugees, but for tens of thousands of people escaping conflict elsewhere, Syria is also a place of refuge. Here is a report.
Zahra fled Somalia in 2012 to find refuge in Damascus. Despite the conflict flaring in Syria at the time, she decided to stay on, fearing even more the situation back home, where her daughter was raped and killed.
No country closer to Somalia was safe enough for us to go. There was only Syria. When we arrived here, they didn't ask for a visa or anything. We climbed down from the plane and walked out of the airport.
In 6 years of war, millions of Syrians have been forced to flee their country. But some foreign refugees in Damascus say they had no choice but to stay. Most of them arrived before the beginning of the conflict.
Syria has produced many refugees, and many Syrians are also displaced within the country. But Syria has also welcomed 35,000 refugees, mainly from Iraq, South Sudan and Somalia.
On top of this, more than 20,000 Iraqis have arrived in Syria since the beginning of the offensive to retake Mosul from the Islamic State group. Fatin is a Chaldean Christian and fled Iraq's sectarian conflict in 2007. Her husband has lived in Damascus for 18 years, and because Syria never recognized South Sudan's recent independence, he has no official ID.
When we arrived here, the situation was good. I married a man whose country is also at war and where the situation is terrible. We hoped that the United Nations would help us get out of here, but all our requests have been denied. It's dramatic because the situation got bad here as well. Wherever we go, it gets worse. We don't know what to do.
Some refugees say they nearly got caught in the fighting near Damascus. But this small suburban church is a haven of peace, away from two wars, the one they left behind, and the one looming over them daily in Syria.
And now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Cloudy skies will prevail over the coastal areas of the Governorate of Dhofar and its nearby mountains, with chances of intermittent drizzle. Rest of the Sultanate will have clear skies with chances of scattered rainfall over the Hajar Mountains. Winds will be easterly to southeasterly light to moderate. Seas will be slight with a maximum wave height of 1.25 meters. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and now before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Asyad Group stresses that the logistics sector is expected to contribute with 2 billion Omani riyals in the gross domestic product by 2020 and signs a memorandum of understanding with Qatar Ports Management Company. The Special Economic Zone Authority at Dukhum enhances its efforts to attract domestic and foreign investments. And the disruption of works at wastewater project in the Wilaya of Masuna hindered traffic movement from and to villages of the Wilaya. With that, we do conclude this news bulletin brought to you live from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman Television. This news has been directed by Sultan Al-Bahri and the chief editor Huda Al-Jahwariya. Thank you for joining us.